Brilliance Audio presents When Never Comes by Barbara Davis, performed by Shannon McManus. The first ring came with the same throat-thickening panic all 2 a.m. phone calls produce. Disorientation, dread, the certainty that something, somewhere, is terribly wrong. Christine shot up with a gasp, grabbing for the phone on the bedside table. Hello?
Mrs. Ludlow?
Yes?
Christine Ludlow.
Yes. Who's calling?
Mrs. Ludlow, this is Sergeant Stanley with the Clear Harbor Police. I apologize for the call, but we've been knocking for some time now. We need to speak with you.
Police? Her pulse ticked up a notch, the skin on the back of her neck prickling with the old familiar warning. What's happened? What's wrong? The voice on the other end of the phone was polite, but strained.
We'd prefer to speak in person.
A moment later, she was pulling back the front door, staring at 2 uniformed police officers. What is it? Why are you here?
I'm afraid it's your husband, ma'am. There's been an accident. His car skidded off a bridge and into Echo Bay.
Christine's chest seemed to seize. Where is he? Is he all right? What hospital have they taken him to?
Your husband isn't in the hospital, Mrs. Ludlow. He didn't survive the accident. I'm afraid we're going to need a next of kin to come down and identify his body.
The silence spooled out as the words penetrated. Stephen's body. Echo Bay.
We'd be happy to drive you,
the sergeant continued, his voice full of polite sympathy. It wasn't his first time knocking on a door in the middle of the night, Christine realized dully. How many wives, mothers, lovers, and friends had gotten the visit she was getting now? It took a moment for the sergeant's offer to penetrate. No, she replied, feeling strangely detached, as if watching the scene from a long way off. The last thing she wanted at that moment was a ride in the back of a police car. Thank you. I can drive myself. The sergeant nodded.
We'll wait while you get dressed then, and you can follow us back to the station.
Christine nodded, trying to wrap her head around what had happened, and the reality of what came next. Best-selling crime novelist Stephen Ludlow was dead, and she needed to go identify his body. But first, she needed to get dressed. Christine felt the ground tilt as she stepped into the lobby of the Clear Harbor Police Station, the scuffed black and white floor tiles, the unforgiving fluorescent glare, the nauseating aroma of burned coffee and stale cigarette smoke reminded her queasily of another night, another calamity a lifetime ago. She shook it off. Deal with the calamity in front of you. If life had taught her anything, it had taught her that. Sergeant Stanley stepped away to speak to the officer at the front desk, then turned back with an awkward smile and pointed to a row of blue plastic chairs along the wall.
You can have a seat if you like. We've called to have someone escort you down.
Moments later, the stainless steel elevator doors opened. Christine was startled to see a familiar figure step into the lobby. Daniel Connolly had been, a close friend of Stephen's, a drinking companion and a regular at his Friday night card games. But he was a homicide detective, and Stephen had died in a car accident. What was he doing here at 3 a.m?
Christine.
He took both her hands in his. They were hot and slightly sticky.
I'm so sorry. When they realized it was Stephen, they called me. They thought it might be easier if I was here to explain things.
She frowned. Explain things? It was an odd way to put it. A cold, blunt way. She pulled her hands free, trying not to be obvious as she wiped her palms on her jacket. Thank you, detective, for coming out at this hour.